Hello and welcome back to the Hellraiser blog. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy watching the blog, hit the subscribe button. We love growing the Hellraiser boxing YouTube family. Big night of boxing last night. Anthony Joshua, as predicted on the Hellraiser blog, winning on points against Andy Ruiz Jr. I reckon Anthony Joshua watched the Hellraiser blog because he got his tactics exactly as predicted on the Hellraiser blog. I thought he carried out his task to perfection, not quite perfection, close to perfection. There was numerous times during the fight where I thought he might bite, because what happened in the first fight, I think he was clearly not comfortable from the get-go. He was just a strange, weird sort of a sequence of events. But as soon as things started to deteriorate, you could see he was like on the verge of panicking. Then he lands, hurts Andy Ruiz Jr. And at the moment he knew he was in trouble, his brain sort of frazzled. He threw himself at Ruiz and got caught himself, and that was the start and end eventually of his undoing. Last night he was so disciplined. He was moving laterally, doing all the things. So that's my little baby who's just woken up. He's in a cot beside me, so he's putting out some little chirping noises. He was moving laterally, keeping Ruiz long, and even when you could see he was sort of thinking about, maybe I'll go charging in now, I'll go and try and close the show. He was very conservative, and that was, I think, that is what won him the fight. That's what got him to stay in there, because if he'd have just thrown caution to the wind, I think there's a high percentage chance the same thing could have happened again. Now, for me, it was as much. I mean, look, I don't want to take any credit away from Anthony Joshua, because I loved watching him box how he boxed. It wasn't crash bang wallop, but for me, there's a beauty. Look, boxing. If you like crash bang wallop, there's a place called the Circus Tavern in Purfleet, in Essex. Go there, you'll have a great night. But if what you actually like watching is the art of boxing, the skill level being up there, then stay away from the Circus Tavern, because you'll be disappointed. And it wasn't crash bang wallop what Joshua done yesterday, and it looked like you could see there was times where he was quite close to getting stuck in. I'm so glad he didn't, because that had to be part of the tactics. He had to be disciplined, even if it meant, I mean, I'll call it win boring. For me, that isn't boring. That's very intelligent. That's clever. That's using your brain to beat someone who actually beat him very convincingly. Like I said, I don't want to take anything away from Joshua, but to me, it was as much Andy Ruiz throwing it away as it was Joshua seizing the opportunity and turning it around. And it's not an easy thing to do when you've come off a convincing defeat. Obviously, he came close because he hurt Ruiz in Andy Ruiz Jr. in the first fight, but for him to completely turn things around, you know, there was a lot of doubters. There was a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's done now. You know, that's it. He's been found out. He's no good anymore." Right. He stuck to his game plan, he stuck to his task, I thought really impressively. But for me, Andy Ruiz, I mean, what is he doing coming in like a stone heavier? And the thing is, when I was watching it, I was thinking, he's very slow on his feet, Andy Ruiz. You watch the fight, he's like off the pace all the time. And Andy Ruiz is like one step, Joshua's like two steps. He was, by the time he was going to where Joshua was then, Joshua was there. And when you're actually boxing someone, and when you can feel that, you know you're a mile ahead. You don't quite relax, certainly not after you've just been knocked out by that actual person, I would imagine. But you'd certainly, confidence-wise, you start to realise, and Joshua was at least a step ahead of Ruiz throughout the fight. And why? Because Ruiz was so much heavier. Just carrying that weight around. Imagine the stone in weight. Put it in a bag. Put it on your back. Try boxing. Are you going to box better with it or without it? Of course, without it. And when I heard the weights, I actually did like a little mini blog on the morning of the fight. and the sound was terrible, so I apologise for that. Don't bother watching it, in fact, because it sounds terrible. I'll tell you what I said in it. What I was saying was, I think Ruiz, that it's not a tactical thing for me. I don't think it's too much good living. He's a champion now, yeah, very clever, gone and lived a life, and come in for me miles over. I mean, if anything, he needed his weight to go down. I thought it would go down. I thought his weight. I saw a slimline picture of him. You never know. This could be hoaxes and mind games, but I thought the first fight was at quite short notice for him. So I thought second fight, he's had plenty of notice. He also, from the first fight, he'd have known, right, Josh was this type of boxer, and I thought because of that he would want to come in light. He would have anything, not massively lighter, but he would come down in weight because the edge that he had in speed at close range against Joshua was what won him the first fight, and I thought, well, he's not going to throw that away, he's going to want to. But when there are donuts calling, when there's pancakes on the table that end up in your belly, that's what happens. And that's what it, to me, that's, I could well be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. Is just he's had too much good life. He went into this fight unarmed. He'd handicapped himself by putting this weight on. And Joshua's tactics I loved watching, but the movement that Joshua showed, sideways movement, it just looked like a gear ahead of Ruiz. And while he was chopping and changing the distance and the movement and varying the angles of attack constantly, it meant that Ruiz looked almost like he was pondering in slow motion, trying to follow him. And it was a joy to watch. And like I say, it's not like some people just want to see like a Rocky movie every fight. Like, I'm not one of them. I get more satisfaction from watching what I saw Anthony Joshua do there. And people, I was in a pub and I didn't say anything to anyone. I just kept my thoughts to myself because it's East London and, you know, we just all want to get on with each other. But people calling him a coward, people saying, you know, how no one's going to want to watch him because he's boring now. Listen, not for me. I had to wash that out. I just completely refrained from entering any sort of conversations. And to me, that was art. That was, boxing is a noble art. That was a work of art. The way he boxed was beautiful to me. And I could replay that through my mind over and over and over. And the little things he was doing to negate Ruiz's forwards movement and stopping Ruiz from being settled. And it's difficult to do that for 12 3-minute rounds. And he actually didn't do it for 12 3-minute rounds because at times Ruiz did manage to catch him and catch up with him momentarily. But the moment he did, Joshua was off. He was back there, which is where you want to see, you know, heavyweight. At times he did still look a little bit upright with the chin up, but it was almost like he reminded himself whenever that happened and came back down. I loved it. Well done, Anthony Joshua. He's done the whole of Britain proud. And I'm very much looking forward to him now. Who's he going to fight next? We'll have to keep an eye on Google, I think. I mean, you've got Fury. What a massive fight that would be. Obviously, Deontay Wilder, I think, is the one that most people want to watch. But a load of good fights. Maybe the winner of Fury and the return with Wilder. We'll see. But I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, off to Sunday lunch with my little boy now. And I will catch you again. If you enjoyed the blog, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks very much for watching. See you then, guys. Bye-bye.